Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. I've recently been responding with the aggressive Wayward Queen, that is Queen h5, when my opponent plays Bishop c5, the Anderssen Defense against the Vienna Game, and have been doing really well. According to Stockfish, the much more conventional looking knight f3 is the best move, but queen h5 is definitely okay and might even be one of the best moves for white. Interestingly, according to the Lichess database, queen h5 is very infrequently played in the Anderssen Defense, in less than 0.5% of 400,000 games. This makes the move unexpected. Please enjoy. So let's have a look at the review, chess.com's algorithm, and we played, I think, a really quite a good balanced game. My opponent responded really very well to the Vienna game for a good part of the opening and into the early mid game. I happened to match against an opponent rather lower rated than myself, but unfortunately they made a blunder, and we'll see that blunder in context. And unfortunately for them, that blunder made all the difference. Let's move on now to the analysis. So I had white in this game, so Vienna game, e4, e5, knight c3, and the opponent played the Anderssen defense, as mentioned in the opening, which is bishop c5. Now, I've been playing what I call the Wayward Queen, Queen h5, and as you can see, it's not a bad move. Like white, there potentially is a better move, but definitely white is not giving up an advantage to black. And this move itself has a fair amount of logic. If the opponent plays something very carelessly, captured a pawn with check, and then that bishop is next. So there's some clear and obvious threats here for black that they have to respond to right away. So it's a very nice aggressive move. Now the best move here is in fact knight f3. And the logic here is, let's say the opponent has played some random move, is that you now set yourself up for d4, attack on the bishop, and basically they have a problem because if captures back, opponent can't capture because it's now defended by the queen. So that is in fact the best move, knight f3, with a sort of ongoing small advantage for white, but I've been enjoying playing this aggressive early queen move, which again is actually not bad. It's not a bad move. Now my opponent played queen e7, which was actually quite a mistake, but I needed to respond here to capitalize on that immediately by attacking the queen with the knight. And in this game, I chose not to do that, which was a mistake, but I'll know that for next time. And one of the things I think with this system, by playing the early queen, is it often can induce the opponent to actually play the wrong move in response, because they feel they have to defend that pawn. So here I played bishop c4, which was a mistake. So back to equality, I lose some of the advantage, and you can see Stockfish reckons I should have immediately attacked the queen. The opponent now played knight f6, which makes sense. Here I decided to withdraw the queen to f3, which again wasn't the most accurate move here. Stockfish suggested playing queen h4 would have been better, but I thought I wanted to play a little bit more conservatively. They short castle, which I was sure was probably going to end up being a mistake. And you can see their advantage has diminished somewhat, because one of the things that this system sets up is, sets up a number of potential sort of attackers, onto the king side. Here I now push my knight forward, so that gets rid of that knight. Basically stripping away one of the defenders around their king. I expected that. Bring the bishop all the way back to b3. Opponent plays d6. No, Stockfish like that. Yep, I suppose that was a fine move. Here, my goal was, let's get that knight out and join the attack. And here what I was seeing is, if the opponent allows it, this, gives a very sort of nice position for that knight. Opponent now plays knight d7, which, develop the knight. I suppose that makes sense. Yep, so they're allowing my knight moves, and there we go. Attack on the queen. Expected, yep, they were going to get take the bishop, and now the bishop is also gone. So another sort of defender around the king is lost. And here I expected them to push that pawn, which of course weakens the defense of that king. Sorry, so they didn't do that. They did that first. Yep, just block with that pawn, and I think, yeah, there we go. So now they play g6, and g6 now weakens that defense of that of the king. So I moved the queen one step to the right, so queen g5, potentially pinning that knight. Opponent brings their sort of rook over, rook ae8, which I don't think achieves very much in this case. Here I played d3, now opening up sort of a line for that bishop along that dark diagonal. And here the opponent makes another erroneous queen move. Here, you know, they've straight up hung that knight, which is bad, and that was their blunder. So +6, completely winning here. You know, look, the queen controls here, bishop here, so potential sort of checkmate opportunity. Opponent misses that threat, and so bishop h6, potential checkmate. In one turn. Now the opponent can potentially, you know, delay it for a bit with sort of some desperate moves, but none of this prevents the eventual checkmate that's coming. So good game, GG. I didn't play the most accurately in this game, but it nonetheless worked very well for me. What I've experienced so far is that the Wayward Queen in the Anderssen Defense of the Vienna Game can induce the opponent to make some errors in the placement of their queen, and often induce kingside pawn movements, which ultimately weakens the king's defense. Furthermore, it potentially sets up white's pieces for a nice attack kingside, which works really well if they castle short. I hope you found this game interesting, and thanks for watching.